Guys, so here's a presentation based on a workshop that we delivered in 2018. We're going to break it up into 3 chunks so that we don't submit you to death by PowerPoint. So we're going to get started straight away by looking at the importance of the pelvis and its role that it plays in Tai Chi. So I'll just allow those bits to clear. So here we go, we've got 2 images. One's an x-ray of me back in 2010, and the other one is of a stone arch and 2 pillars. The Chinese think of our stances in Tai Chi akin to an arch with a keystone. The keystone is the structure that ties everything together, and that's how we think of our pelvis. It connects the 2 legs and enables the power from one leg driving through the pelvis to create movement. So it's a really important concept to have that in mind, and it helps us focus our attention on where it matters when practicing Tai Chi, and that is in the pelvis and using the legs to be the driver of our movements. Let's move on to the next slide. Here you can see we've got 3 blocks, 1, 2, 3, and we're relating them to our Tai Chi postures. We've got our favourite image here of Our Lady in Shanghai practicing ward off as a movement, one of the movements that you learn with us in Tai Chi Foundations, and she illustrates really nicely what we're aiming for. So if we start with the bottom block, number 1, feet, legs and pelvis, you can see that her stance creates the base and foundation upon which everything else is built. Number 2, her torso sits just nicely balanced on top of the pelvis. If we think of the pelvis as a bowl, and it is a big bowl shape, isn't it? The pelvis, everything above is carried by the pelvis, so she can allow the torso, head and neck all to be just nicely carried. And the 3rd block, as I said, is the head and neck carried by the shoulder girdle, and again her shoulder girdle can be nice and relaxed, which enables her to create those nice rounded shapes through the hands and arms that we look for in Tai Chi. So I hope that's a useful illustration for you. Let's move on. So we're going to look at the concept of frames and the base of support that we create with our stances and the torso, head and neck. So hopefully I'm going to be able to get some lines to appear here, look out for them. So at the bottom you'll have seen some red lines appear around this lady's feet, and they represent the base of support that she's created with her stance. You'll notice that not only has she taken a step forward with that left leg of hers, but she's also got width between her heels, as we used to say. So there's a good space. If she was to bring that left leg back and stand upright, she would have a hip width stance. So we always want to make sure that we have width as well as length to our stance so that we're not standing on a tightrope. Sadly, it's something that we see a lot in Tai Chi practice, and it's simply wrong. We can't put it any other way than that. Let's have a look what's happening here. So we should get a blue arrow, there it is, and it illustrates the line of gravity falling directly into the base of support that she's created with her stance. It doesn't have to be exactly in the center, but it needs to fall somewhere within that base of support. And as you can see, it does. And that's why she looks so balanced, poised, and at ease. Here we go. We can think about this in a slightly different way if we take those lines away and put a frame around her. So we talk about frames in Tai Chi. You'll often hear frames described as large frame, medium frame and small frame. I would suggest that this lady is somewhere kind of medium to maybe small, but now you can see that she kind of roughly fits nicely. If you think of the base of support, then her hips, then her shoulders, then her head, don't worry too much about the hands and arms, that she fits nicely within a frame. So sometimes in Tai Chi we think about fitting within a frame and actually being constrained by that frame. It's really important because again it enables us to maintain a balanced structure. If we think of this more in 3 dimensions, so let's take the frame away and then create some building blocks that give us a 3D impression of volume. Now we can understand that once again the lady illustrating this stance here fits nicely into that series of blocks. We've got the base of support created by the feet, the legs and the pelvis. Her torso is nicely balanced on top of that first foundation, and then her head and neck are balanced ever so nicely on top of the rest of the structure. So again, I'm hoping that's a nice illustration for you of those principles of frames and base of support. So our next slide is going to be the start of our next presentation, but I thought I'd bring it up now because it's a YouTube video of Royal Opera House ballerinas being coached live in front of an audience by one of the lead instructors from the Royal Opera House. So have a look at that video. It's a bit of a long one, so you might want to just look at it in chunks, and the next series of chunks in this presentation will explore what's going on there and how it relates to Tai Chi as well. So hope you've enjoyed this presentation. We will produce another one very soon, and we will see you in class very soon as well. Happy practicing. Take care everyone. Bye bye.